I have ranked hundreds of businesses in the top 3 in local search and scaled my SEO agency to 7 figures doing just that. So whether you're selling the skill to local businesses or ranking your own local business, local SEO is the fastest, consistent way to generate leads from your local market. So this video is the complete A to Z local SEO system I use for every client. You're going to get every step, every tool, and every strategy in this one video, so you're never going to need another local SEO tutorial again. If you mess this up, you're going to waste months building the wrong thing. But first, we need to start with the foundation most people completely skip. Now, most people think local SEO is just regular SEO in a specific city, but that's completely wrong, and that mistake costs them months of wasted effort. When someone searches plumber near me or plumber Houston, Google shows a map with 3 business listings at the top. Those are not websites. Those are Google business profiles. And here's what matters. 60 to 70% of clicks go to those top 3 map positions. So if you're ranked 4th, you're on page 2. You're invisible. No one is scrolling down to find you. My favorite joke in SEO, where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google search. This is why local SEO is a completely different game than regular SEO. In regular SEO, you're trying to rank your website's URLs. But in local SEO, you're trying to rank your Google business profile. And Google uses 3 main factors to decide which businesses show up in those top 3 spots: proximity, relevance, and authority. Let me show you exactly how those 3 factors work. These 3 glasses represent 3 businesses that are all trying to rank their Google business profile. Now, I mentioned 3 important categories to build that rank. We have trust, we have authority, and we have proximity. Now, proximity is how far away the searcher is from your particular business. So for this first one, maybe the searcher is pretty far away. For the second one, the searcher is quite a bit closer. And for the third business, the searcher is in the business's doorstep. Now, our second category is relevance. How much relevance does each one of these businesses have? Our third business, not very much relevance. They have a very small website, handful of pages. Second business, same thing. Not very much relevance, handful of pages. The third business, they watched this video, they built a massive amount of topical relevance. And finally, we have authority. The first business, they have a couple of simple links from some blog posts, but you know what? That's enough for their glass to overflow and for them to rank. Second business, they spent a little bit more effort, they got a little bit more links, and they're also overflowing and ranking. Now, our third business, they have a long way to go, as you can see, and they've done that by joining chambers of commerce, by sponsoring local sports teams, by doing everything they need to do to make sure their glass overflows also, and they can overcome that massive penalty by being simply too far away. Now, here's the good news about all of this. Most of your local competitors are doing the bare minimum. You're trying to outrank Joe the plumber who uses Yahoo to figure out where to go to log into the Google business profile. They filled out their Google business profile once 3 years ago, and they called it done. They have 1 category when Google allows 10. They have 0 services listed when they should have 30. Their glasses are barely half full because they're ignoring 2 of the 3 factors, the only 2 factors they can actually control. That's why it can be so easy to outrank established businesses even if they've been around for decades. They're not playing the game. They don't even know there's a game to play. So if you understand these 3 factors and you build your website and your Google business profile to maximize the relevance and authority, the 2 you can control, you can rank a business in weeks, not in months. But here's what you need to understand. You are not trying to rank blog posts. Any SEO agency pitching you on weekly blog posts, run away from them, don't walk. You're not trying to get traffic from people in other cities reading your content. Every single page on your local business website exists for one reason: to help your Google business profile rank higher in the map. And remember those 3 glasses I just showed you? We're going to fill each one until it overflows without needing proximity throughout this process. We're going to build relevance through content. We're going to build authority through links, and we're going to watch your rankings get better and better as the glasses fill up. This changes everything about how you approach content, how you structure your site, and what success actually looks like in local SEO. And this is the foundation that determines whether you're going to rank in weeks or struggle for years. Now, we never start optimization until we run this first diagnostic step. It tells us exactly what type of local content we need to produce for a client. It's a local rank map. It's going to show your Google business profile's ranking position at 169 different points across your city. Green means you're in the top 3, you're visible, you're getting calls. Yellow means positions 4 through 10 or so, and you're completely invisible, but close to breaking into the top 3. Red means you're not going to get found. Google simply does not believe that your business does that service in that location. And this map is going to tell us everything we need to know about what to do next. Here's an example local rank map. This is for a plumber in Houston. Here's another example. This is for a plumber in Gary, Indiana. I can actually pull up any number. So if I pull up this rank map, it looks a little bit worse. And if I come all the way down here, this plumber is not getting very many calls from Google search. We can see all the 20s, a little bit of green, some yellow and orange, and that's what we have. Now, most SEO agencies, especially ones that can't rank businesses, they just start creating content randomly. They write blog posts about general plumbing topics. They target keywords that have a high search volume. They're guessing. But if you run a rank map first, you're not guessing anymore. When you look at these rank maps, most businesses, they're mainly red and yellow and a little bit of green right next to the business address. That tells us that that business needs proximity to win. So they only win close to their location. Google doesn't trust them to rank them anywhere else. They need more relevance and more authority. That means direct targeted content and links. And that's exactly where we started with our client in Plano, Texas, position 17 on average, barely any green on the map. After implementing this system, they went from 17 to 2.35 in just 2 weeks and generated over $50,000 in new revenue for the next month. Here's what that plumber in Plano looks like once we've built enough relevance and authority that Google ranks them across the entire service area. But here's what matters most about that rank map. There's one specific metric that determines our entire strategy going forward. It's called the top 3%. We take the total area on the map and calculate what percentage is green, positions 1, 2, or 3. If you're at 40% top 3, that tells us a very important thing. If you're at 1%, that tells us something completely different about what we need to do next. Do we build topical content or geographic content? If we get that decision wrong, we're going to waste months creating content that won't move your rankings at all. I'm going to show you exactly how we use this metric when we talk about building relevance later on in this video. It's going to be the decision point that changes everything around how we plan our content strategy. But first, I need to make sure that the foundation is actually set up correctly, because if it's not, most local businesses are making 3 massive mistakes in their Google business profile, and it's going to keep them invisible. And I've seen the same pattern in over 500 GBP audits. Now, the first mistake is categories. Most businesses I look at choose one category, their primary, and they just stop there. But Google allows you to choose up to 10 categories, and here's why that matters. Every single category you add is another search term that Google might show you for. If you're a plumber and you only have plumber as your category, you're missing out on searches for drainage service and gas installation service. Typically, we want 2 to 4 categories minimum as long as they're relevant. We can go a lot more as long as it makes sense for your business. So how do we choose the right categories? I like to use a tool called GMB Everywhere. It makes it very, very easy to do this. Let me show you exactly how. So GMB Everywhere is a Chrome plugin, so I have it installed. That's why we see all these boxes. And once we do a search on maps.google.com, you can see a search for Plumber Houston. I can come to one of these and I can hit Find More. That opens up this helpful category finder. So it's going to start on the top by showing me all the categories that this business has chosen for their GBP and how many GBPs have that category. 1.5 million use plumber, and then we have air conditioning contractor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here's what makes this so valuable in choosing the best GBP categories for your business. Right below that, we have related categories. So we can see 1.5 million plumbers. We have 15,000 that chose draining service, 110,000 chose plumbing supply store. We have plumbers merchant, 60,000 chose septic system, septic tank service, another 60, heating contractor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So doing this, we can very quickly see which businesses chose which related categories to get very strong ideas that we can use for our secondary categories to make sure we're targeting 2, 3, or 4 at minimum. On top of that, I also like to use an AI prompt to help choose strategic categories. Between GMB Everywhere and this prompt, you're going to have the right categories chosen in like 5 minutes. So that's mistake number 1 fixed. Here's that prompt on screen. Now, you do have to be careful. AI has a tendency to just make up GBP categories, so it can be helpful to grab a long list of all of the categories and give that to AI and tell it to choose from the list. So the second mistake is services. Most businesses have maybe 1, 2, maybe 5 services listed if someone told them it mattered and it was super important, but you should have at least 20 services listed on your Google profile. Why 20? Because every service you list is another signal to Google about what you actually do. And in competitive markets, you might actually need 30, 40, or more services to compete. So here's what's different from categories. Services need to be categorized, optimized by which category they're most relevant to. So under your plumber category, you're going to list things like water heater replacement, pipe repair, leak detection. Google is looking at whether your services semantically match your categories. If they do, that's a relevance signal. If they don't, you're confusing the algorithm. Remember, Google is just math. The great thing about services is that it's a free box. You can type whatever you want in, be creative. Here is an excellent prompt to help you generate services based on the categories you have. Now, the third mistake is a simple one. It's leaving boxes empty on your GBP. Google gives you a business description field, an attribute section, a product section, services, which we just covered, photos, posts. Most businesses fill out their name, address, phone number, maybe they upload a logo, and leave a lot of the rest blank. So here's what you need to understand. Google's algorithm is looking at completion signals. A fully completed profile signals that this is an active, legitimate business. An empty profile signals that maybe this business doesn't exist anymore, or maybe it's spam, or maybe the business owner doesn't care. None of those are good. So you need to fill out every single box. Your business description should target 750 characters. That's the maximum that Google allows. Use all of it. Photos. Put at least 20 photos on their GBP. Exterior photos, interior photos, team photos, work in progress photos. Google wants to see that you're a real business. If you take these photos with your phone, they're going to be geotagged automatically. GBP posts, I'll show you how to automate this in a minute. You should be doing that. Attributes, check every attribute box that applies. If it doesn't apply, still check it, but check no. Veteran owned, woman owned, accept credit cards, free estimates, ADA compliant bathroom, whatever is relevant. This entire audit, categories, services, filling out every box should take you about a half hour. And it's going to put you ahead of 90% of your local competitors immediately. Honestly, 80% of local businesses can get to a point where they have enough top 3% to be a six-figure business just by doing these basic things. Now, I'm going to put the full GBP audit guide we use every day at my agency in the school community. A link is in the description. There are nearly 3,000 SEO professionals there, and my team and I help answer questions about SEO. Now, your Google business profile is only half of the equation. If your website doesn't match what you put in your GBP, Google won't build enough relevance for competitive market. Google is checking if your website and GBP belong to the same business. If you fail this test, you're not going to rank in a competitive market. Your GBP landing page, that's what I refer to as the URL you put in your website field of your Google business profile. For most single location businesses, it's just your homepage. Google is looking at that page to verify that your website and your GBP are the same business. If they don't match, Google assumes one of them is fake or that you don't know. So here are 7 consistency signals that page must have. I'll show them on the screen here while I walk through. First, your title tag must include your primary category and your city name. It should be something like Houston Plumber, same-day service, brand name. I analyzed over 100 local businesses a couple months ago, and over 60% of them had the word home or just their business name as the title tag. They're making it easy for you to outrank them. Okay, second, your H1 needs to match. It has to include your primary category and your city name. Third, you want to have a Google Maps embed of your GBP location on the page. Google makes this super easy to do. Fourth, your secondary categories and that core service should be mentioned, ideally in the subheading. Fifth, you need to have a review widget to display Google business reviews on your homepage. Sixth, your address needs to match your GBP address character for character. And seventh, your phone number needs to match character for character. I'll even give you a bonus eighth to make sure you have local business schema on that homepage also. These 7 elements create what Google calls consistency signals. The more consistent your website is with your GBP, the more Google trusts that they belong to the same business. Now, here's something that most people don't know. Google invented the transformer technology back in 2017. That's the same tech that powers ChatGPT and every other AI you've ever heard of. In fact, the T in ChatGPT actually stands for transformer. Both Google Search and ChatGPT care about the same thing, consistency. When someone asks ChatGPT for a plumber recommendation in Houston, it's checking very similar signals to what Google is checking. Is the business information consistent? Does the address match? Are the services clearly listed? And here's why ChatGPT optimization builds even more trust in Google. When you show up on Google, it's a vote of trust from the algorithm. But when ChatGPT recommends you, that feels like a friend recommending someone. It's personal, it's trusted. So when a customer finds you on both Google and you're recommended by ChatGPT, man, those customers are sold before they even call you. And that's what this whole system is built on, using your website to prove to Google and to AI tools that your business is to be trusted. All right, so those are the basics. Now I want to finish this foundation by automating the ongoing ongoing management so you don't spend hours every week on this. Once your GBP is optimized and your landing page is consistent, we need to keep the GBP active. Google is watching for activity signals. Businesses that post regularly, respond to reviews, upload photos, active profiles rank higher than dormant ones. It's as simple as that. But I know nobody wants to spend 2 hours every week manually writing GBP posts and uploading photos. Can you imagine? We had to do that back in 2021. So we connect the GBP to a management tool that's going to automate nearly all of this. The tool we use at my agency is called LeadSnap. Use whichever one you like, but this is the exact system we use to manage hundreds of client profiles. I'm going to put a link in the description that'll get you half off the first 3 months to try LeadSnap. It's going to save you hours per week, or saves you from paying some other company $300 a month to set up these automations for you just one time. But that is pretty solid long-term profit for those agencies. So here's what we're going to automate. First, weekly GBP posts. Most businesses post once and forget about it for 6 months. We're going to post every single week with one prompt that generates 52 posts, one for every week of the year. Schedule all 52 posts in LeadSnap and you're done for the entire year. Second, weekly geotag photo uploads. Now here's something interesting. Yes, I know, Google strips the metadata when photos are uploaded, but we consistently see more rank movement when we do weekly geotag photos than we do non-geotag. This is almost certainly because most smartphones will automatically geotag photos, so Google is expecting to see photos with metadata. Plus, tools like LeadSnap will automatically geotag on upload now, so there's no real extra work involved. Okay, and third, AI-powered review responses. This takes roughly 25 seconds to set up, and it handles all review responses automatically. Fourth, automated citations to Apple Maps, Bing for Business, Yelp, all the major directories that require business verification. Set it up once, takes maybe an hour to connect everything and schedule the post, and then your GBP stays active all year without you having to touch it. So that is the complete foundation. GBP optimized, landing page optimized, management automated. Now, in the next 10 minutes or so, I know this video is going long, but I promised a full guide. I'm going to show you the website structure that got that plain old plumber from position 17 to 2.35. And it's nothing like what most SEO agencies are doing. I call it the core 30. And here's why. If you have 3 to 4 categories and 20 to 30 services on your GBP, you're going to end up with about 30 pages of content. One homepage, 3 to 4 category pages, and 25 to 30 service pages. Comes to around 30 pages. And these 30 pages create the foundation of topical relevance that Google needs to see before it will rank you in competitive markets. So let me tell you exactly how this works. The homepage is your GBP landing page. We already covered what needs to be on that page, all 8 consistency elements. But here's what most people miss. The homepage also needs to do more than just mention your secondary categories. So if your primary category is plumber and your secondary categories are drainage service and gas installation service, each of those secondary categories gets an H2, a subheading, on your homepage. Under that subheading, write 50 to 100 words about that category. What it is, why customers need it, what services fall under it, how good you are at doing it, and then, this is critical, link from that paragraph to a dedicated category page, not a navigation link, not a footer link, an editorial link, a link that appears in the context, in the paragraph, that tells Google exactly what that page is going to be about. Because here's what most people don't understand. Navigation links and footer links barely pass any authority. Google knows these are just site structure. They're not endorsements. Editorial links, links in your content, pass real authority. Google sees those and understands that this page is recommending this other page. So from your homepage, you're going to have 3 to 4 editorial links going to your category pages. Now, let's look at a category page. The target keyword for your category pages is the category name plus the city name. Drainage Service Houston. That's going to go in your title tag. That's going to go in your H1, your primary heading. And then on that category page, you're going to list the services that are most relevant to that category. Each one gets an H2 subheading. You're going to write 50 to 100 words about that specific service, and you're going to link from that paragraph to a dedicated service page. So from each category page, you might have 5 to 10 editorial links to the service pages. Are we seeing the pattern here? Homepage links to the category pages link to the service pages. It mirrors your GBP structure exactly. Google looks at this and it sees all of these internal links, a comprehensive, well-organized website that matches exactly what you already told it in your Google business profile. Okay, so let's look at a service page. The target keyword is the service name plus the city name. Water heater replacement Houston, emergency plumber Houston, title tag, primary heading, same pattern. And then you write detailed content about that specific service, why customers need it, what it includes, how long it takes, what to expect. This is where you get specific. The This is not generic plumbing advice. This is not 5 ways to tell if your water heater needs to be replaced. This is specific information about this exact service in this exact city. Now here's the question everyone asks. How do you write 30 pages of unique, high-quality content without spending weeks on it? Okay, you're already using AI to write content. I certainly hope you are, at least. But here's what most people get wrong. Google doesn't care if content is written by AI or by humans. Google cares if content is helpful. And most AI content isn't helpful because it's generic. It's vague. It's walls of text with no formatting, no images, no personality. Let me give you the prompt we use to generate better content for local SEO. But you still need a human editor to go through and add real business personality and voice, images, client photos are best, AI-generated works, callouts, tables, proper formatting, headers, bullet points, short paragraphs, internal links connecting the pages together. Because here's what Google is actually evaluating. They're looking at your pages on the most recent version of mobile Chrome. If your page looks like a wall of AI slop with no images and no formatting, Google will think, boy, this page looks like a wall of AI slop. So build the content with AI, but make sure it looks like a real website that a real business would have. When you're done with the core 30, you have 30 pages of content that matches your GVP categories and services exactly. They all use target keywords consistently. They link together in a clear hierarchy. They look professional and well designed. This is proof to Google that you are comprehensive and you are legitimate. This is what topical relevance looks like. 30 pages, all proving you actually do what you say you do. This is filling up the glass, the relevance glass that we talked about at the beginning of this video. But even perfect content won't rank without one more component. We still need authority. After AI took over the internet, Google changed how it evaluates content quality. So here's what actually works now. Way back in 1999, Sergey Brin and Larry Page had an insight that would lead to a multi-trillion-dollar company. You can read about their Stanford PhD dissertation, all about this tonight if you're having trouble sleeping. But the insight was simple. Quality websites don't link to spam. If a trusted website links to your page, it's a vote of confidence. Your page is probably pretty good. That insight built Google's algorithm, and it's still the foundation of how Google's algorithm works today. But here's what changed in 2023. In November, AI content started flooding the internet. Millions of pages of AI-generated content appeared overnight, and most of it was garbage, generic, unhelpful, low-quality slop. Google needed a way to separate the AI slop from content that was actually useful, and the answer was the same as it's always been: links. If you have AI-generated content on your site, which you should because AI makes this process possible, you're going to need external links proving the content is quality. Without links, Google has no way to verify that your content is trustworthy and worthy of its searchers spending time on it. With links, Google sees that other sites trust your content enough to link to it. So for the core 30, you're going to need 2 types of links. The first type I call "this is not AI slop" links. These are medium quality external links that validate your content is worth reading. They don't need to be local. They don't need to be from the most powerful domains on the internet. They just need to be from reasonable sites. And you're going to need 1 per page at a minimum. So for your 30 core 30 pages, that's 30 external links. Say that 3 times fast. Now, where do you get these links? You can source them yourself if you know how. You can reach out to relevant blogs, to websites. You can use services that provide quality links. I actually run one of those services. It's called the Ice Cream Truck Shop that does this. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. We charge about $35 per link. And now that might sound like a lot until you remember that ranking in top 3 in even a small city can easily generate 6 figures in revenue per year. The Plano plumber I mentioned, $50,000 in revenue in the next month alone from the few $1,000 investment in doing content and links for his site. So these not AI slop links tell Google that your content is legitimate and trustworthy. But these links alone won't get you to the top 3. For that, you need the second type of link, local authority links. These are links from websites and organizations in your local area that signal to Google that you are a real, trusted, legitimate business in that community. And the absolute best local authority link that you can get is your local chamber of commerce. Most cities charge between $200 and $300 per year for a chamber membership. You join the chamber, they add your business to their directory, and you get a link from their website back to yours. Now here's what makes chamber links so powerful. Google recognizes chambers of commerce as local authority sites. A link from a chamber of commerce tells Google this business is legitimate, they're active in the community, and they're trusted. It's one of the strongest local trust signals that you can get. And here's the secret most SEOs don't know. You can actually join multiple chambers. If there are 3 or 4 chambers of commerce within 70 miles of your business location, join all of them. I've had clients where we join 10 different chambers of commerce. Each one costs a couple $100s a year. It's usually based on the number of employees that you have, but each one is a massive vote of trust, of local trust. The chambers themselves, they don't care if you're 30 miles outside the primary city as long as you're paying the membership fee. Beyond chambers, you want to look out for other local organizations. Youth sports leagues that need sponsorships, local charities, community events, any local organization that has a website and will link to your local business if you sponsor them. Now, clearly, most of these opportunities cost money. You're sponsoring a little league team for a few $100s, or you're donating to a charity gala event, but you're getting real local links that Google values. And to be honest here, these sponsorships and donations are actually good for your business anyway. You're building real community connections. You're not just buying links. Of course, if we put our SEO blinders on, then yes, we're also buying great links. Now, I used to have an employee who spent almost all of her time just looking for these organizations. Now, she mostly does a lot of graphic design work because of the prompt I'm going to show you right now on screen. Now, as before, this prompt is available in the prompt library located in my school community, link in the description. Okay, everything is built now. The core 30 pages with perfect structure. Links proving your quality and local. Both of these glasses are now filled. Relevance and authority. So now here's how we know if it's actually working. And this is the decision point that determines what you do next. Remember at the beginning when I showed you the local rank map? Let's go back to it now. 30 days after you've launched the core 30, it's time to start running more rank maps for your target keyword. Maybe it's your primary category, plumber Houston. Maybe it's a core service, water heater replacement Houston. Whatever keyword you're targeting, run the rank map for that keyword. And now you're going to look for one specific, very, very important metric, top 3%. So take the total area on your map and calculate what percentage is green, positions 1, 2, and 3. As I said before, position 4 and worse is completely invisible. No one is going to click on position 4. So we only count green. LeadSnap is going to give you this data automatically. So if you're at 40% top 3, that tells us one thing. If you're at 1%, that tells us something else. And that number, that top 3%, determines whether we build topical content or geographical content next. Let me walk you through how that decision works. Okay, first, look at your top competitors. Run rank maps for the top 3 or 4 businesses that are dominating your keyword. Look at what their top 3% is. In highly competitive markets, the top players will be at 30 or 40% at best. It's exceptionally difficult to rank everywhere because of the competition in these highly competitive markets. Now, in less competitive markets, the top players might be at 99%. So that number, the top 3% of the big dogs in your area, is your goal. That's where you want to be in a month or 2. Let me show you a couple of examples to make this a little bit more clear. Okay, so here we are in Gary, Indiana, looking at the search for plumber. And we can see the top player is at 94% top 3 in this region. Then number 2, we drop to 79, 26, etc. So if you're a plumber in Gary, I'm going to think, boy, I really want to be in the 90 to 95% range on the top 3. I can see it's possible to achieve that. AJ has, so that's going to be my goal. Now, if I flip over and show Houston, the top player in Houston, obviously much more competitive than Gary, Indiana. The top player here is running 28.5%, much worse than Gary. And then we drop immediately down to 13 and 12, 11, etc. So here, if I'm a plumber in Houston, I'm thinking 25 to 30% is about as good as I'm going to be able to do because Houston is so much more competitive than Gary, Indiana. So to decide what content to produce next, we're going to think about a target of 25 to 50% of your goal. So if the top players are at 80%, your threshold is 30 to 40. If the top players are at 40%, your threshold is 15 to 20. That is your topical relevance threshold. If you're below that threshold, Google doesn't trust you yet. Google doesn't believe that you actually perform that service with the level of expertise that your competitors have. You need more topical relevance, more content proving you know what you're talking about. But if you're at or above your topical relevance threshold, that's just a sign that Google trusts you. Google believes you're an authority on this service. So now the strategy shifts. You don't need to prove you're an expert. You need to expand how far away from your address you can rank. So we're going to shift to building geographical relevance. This decision point is critical because honestly, most agencies don't do this, or they get it backwards. They start immediately building location pages, plumber in Memorial Heights, plumber in River Oaks, before they've proven topical authority. And those location pages do nothing because Google just doesn't trust them yet. Or they keep building topical content forever, entering every FAQ they can find when they've already proven authority and that they should be expanding geographically. The rank map and the top 3 metric tell you exactly where you are and what to do next. If you're below your threshold, you need more topical relevance. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build that next. If you're at or above your threshold, it's time for geographical relevance. I'll walk through that after I talk about topical. So, starting with topical relevance. What to do when Google doesn't trust you're an expert yet. So when Google doesn't believe you're an authority, throwing more service pages at it won't help. You need supporting content. Google doesn't trust you performing this service at the level your competitors do, so you need to prove otherwise. And the way you do this is by answering questions. Now, here's where most SEO agencies get this completely wrong. They'll tell you to write blog posts, generic blog posts about 10 signs you need a new water heater, or I don't know, the history of plumbing in America. Or they'll tell you to create city pages, plumber in Houston, plumber in Katy, plumber in Sugar Land, just changing the city name and calling it content. These tactics don't work. Please stop paying SEO agencies who are doing this. I know these tactics don't work, and I know that SEO agencies still do this because when I post videos on my channel explaining why blog posts like this are a waste of time for local businesses, do you know what happens in the comments? I get SEO agencies asking, if we're not writing blog posts, what do we charge our clients for? Think about that. If you're a local business owner, think about that. The priority for these SEO agencies isn't getting you results, it's finding something to charge for. That's backwards. Their top priority is charging clients. Don't work with agencies like that, please, okay? What you're building here are not blog posts. They're highly targeted supporting content pages built to answer specific questions that the rank map shows you're not ranking for. Every piece of content has a purpose. Every page is connected to your core 30 structure. Nothing is generic, nothing is fluffy. Now think about this. When someone is an expert, they can easily answer detailed questions about their field. They know the nuances. They know the problems people actually have. This is what Google is looking for. So you're going to find FAQs, frequently asked questions, related to the target keyword, and you're going to answer them comprehensively. So there are 2 main sources for finding these questions. The first is Google's People Also Ask section. Go to Google and search for your target keyword. Plumber, water heater replacement, leave the city name off, and whatever your target is. Scroll down and you'll usually see a People Also Ask section with 4 or 5 questions. Click on any question and more will appear. Keep clicking and you can easily find 20 to 30 relevant questions. Here's a quick example. I type in plumber and then I can find right here, People Also Ask. And if I click on this a few times, I get more and more and more. People also ask questions that keep showing up. Now here's what you need to know. Do not copy these questions word for word. I used to say to copy them word for word. Every SEO I know used to say to copy them word for word. The problem is SEOs have abused this People Also Ask section. They've abused it so much that Google is getting wise to it. So if you just copy the exact question and structure content around them, Google's gonna know what you're doing. It's not gonna build as much authority. So instead, we're going to reword the question. Use a different word order. Make sure they mean the same thing, but phrase them slightly differently. Google will understand it's built on the same transformer technology that ChatGPT uses. So how much does it cost to replace a water heater becomes, what's the typical price for water heater replacement? It's the same question, just different words. Okay, the second source is Reddit. Rather than scrolling Reddit yourself, grab this prompt, give the prompt your city and your service, and it's going to go and crawl Reddit, find questions that real people in your area are asking about your service on Reddit. Now these are gold because they, like I said, they're actual local questions from real people. These are not generic People Also Ask questions. They're specific about your service in your city. Once you have these FAQs from these 2 different sources, here's how you're going to use them. You're going to add the question to the relevant page on your site. If it's a general plumbing question, it's going to go on your homepage or the main plumbing category page. If it's specific to water heaters, it goes on your water heater service page. If it's about drain lines, it goes on your drain line page. Then you're going to answer the question briefly, a couple dozen words, just enough to give a quick answer. But then you're going to add an editorial link right in that content, contextual, natural. Something like, Water heater replacement typically costs between $2,000 and $4,000 in Houston, depending on the type and installation complexity. For a detailed breakdown of pricing factors, here a complete guide to water heater replacement costs. That link goes to a new supporting content page, where you're then going to answer that question in depth. Hundreds of words. Really, really comprehensive. Now here's the prompt we use to have AI generate these FAQs and specifically call out which question should have their own detailed explanation page. Pause the video, grab this prompt just like the other ones, or join my school community and get them there along with my full prompt library. Now this FAQ process does two things. First, it adds value to your main pages without bloating them with massive walls of text. Second, it creates internal linking from your core 30 pages to supporting content pages. Google follows these links and sees that you have depth on this topic. And here's what's critical. Every supporting content page needs one of these not AI slop links. You created 30 core 30 pages and got 30 external links. Now you're creating 10 or 20 supporting content pages and you're going to need 10 or 20 more external links. These supporting content pages prove to Google that you have real expertise. You're not just listing services, you're answering the questions that customers actually have. And keep building these supporting content until you hit your top 3% threshold. If your threshold was 30% and you're at 15, keep building supporting content and running rank maps every month until you hit 30%. And once you hit that threshold, the strategy completely changes. Now, you're not trying to prove expertise anymore. Google believes you're an expert. Now, you're trying to expand how far away from your address you can rank. And that's called geographic relevance. So look at your rank map. You're ranking in some areas, but you're going to have gaps. Areas where you're in position 4, 5, 6, almost there, but not quite. You're trying to expand your coverage area. And the way you do it is geographical content targeted at specific landmarks. And here's how this works. Let me show you. So we'll do it here with our plumber in Houston, and I'm going to look for 4, 5s, and 6s. So if I see some 4s up here, we'll zoom in a bit. And I'm using this Google Maps interface because I want to use geographic areas that Google sees as relevant, not ones that I've made up. If it's on Google Maps, it's relevant. So this number 4, so I'm going to write plumber Maple Leaf Gardens, Houston. I'm going to write plumber Wagon Wheel Estates, Houston. I'm going to write plumber near the intersection of Winfield Road and Fallbrook Drive, Houston. I'm going to write plumber Harvest Bend, The Meadows, Houston, right? Maybe I'll do, what do we have here? Do we have a lake? No lake name there, no problem. So we're looking for lakes. We're looking for parks, right? So I can use this one, plumber Ranchstone, Houston. And this is what's important, okay? These need to be areas where people who actually need your service live, not like out in the middle of nowhere, not in the middle of Lake Michigan, where there's actual real search volume. So use your judgment here. You want areas with good demographics, neighborhoods, residential areas, places where your customers are. Matt, here's why you target positions 4 through 6. It's much easier to move from position 4 to 3 than it is from position 19 to position 3. And if you move from position 19 to position 4, that doesn't really get you anything. It's top 3 that matters. So you're already close with 4, 5, or 6. You just need a little more geographical relevance to push you over the edge. So once you've identified that area and you've found that geographical landmark, you have your target keyword to start writing content to build the geographical relevance. I showed you a couple of examples: neighborhood names, park names, major intersections, shopping centers, schools, any landmark that Google recognizes on Google Maps. And then, as I said, your target keyword is service, landmark, city. That target keyword goes in your title tag, it goes in your H1 tag, and here's an AI prompt that can help with this content prioritization, especially with the demographic data. So take your rank map, whatever software you're using, grab the CSV data from it, and give it to AI along with this prompt. And then write content that's actually about that area. Not just, we serve Memorial Park repeated 50 times. Talk about the neighborhood. Talk about the common plumbing issues in that area. Maybe it's older homes with cast iron pipes. Maybe it's newer construction with PEX plumbing. Reference local businesses nearby. Make it genuinely local. AI is going to do this really, really well. Talk about the driving route that your technicians use to get to that neighborhood, or the driving route that your customers would take if they're visiting your location. And just like with supporting content, every geographic page needs each one of those not AI slop links. You're going to build 10, 20 of these geographical pages. That's another 10 to 20 external links you need. Now, these supporting geographical pages, you also need to internally link them to the pages they're supported. So create a locations page or similar that has links to all of the geographic pages. Then, if your geographical page is about water heater replacement memorial heights, link to the water heater replacement page. Then, just keep running that rank map every couple of weeks. Look for new areas where you're now in positions 4 through 6, because as you build authority, you're going to start appearing in more and more places. Target the new areas. Keep expanding outward from your address. What you'll see on the rank map is the green zone growing. First, it's just around your address, then it expands into neighborhood areas, then it keeps spreading. That's geographical relevance in action. Look at this map for a client of mine in downtown Chicago. The green dots are almost 5 million people. We did that by starting with topical relevance, then shifting to geographical relevance, and steadily growing it by producing more and more geographical relevance. Just keep doing this. Alternate between topical content when needed and geographical content when you're above threshold, until, like this client in Chicago, you're dominating your entire service area. So monitor your rank map, check your top 3%, decide what type of content to build next. This is a system. This is repeatable. This is a process. We're not guessing. We're not publishing random content based on what we feel like. You've built the core 30. You've added supporting content for topical relevance. You've created geographic pages to expand your coverage. Your rank map is showing green everywhere. Now what? This is when most agencies drop the ball, if they can get there to begin with. They think the work is done. They stop monitoring. They stop producing content, and 3 months later, a competitor who's still actively building content pushes them out of the top 3. So here's the continuous loop. Every month, run your rank map. Check your top 3 metric. Look at where you're still weak. Are you below threshold? More topical content. At threshold, build geographical content. Dominating everywhere? Maintain and defend. Keep your GBP active with the automated posts and photos. Respond to every review. Add new services as your business evolves. Think about adding another GBP location. Monitor for competitor movement. This system scales as your business grows. Maybe you start with one location and dominate that city. Then you open a second location. Run the same system. New GBP, new core 30, supporting and geographical content specific to that area. The fundamentals don't change. Remember those 3 glasses? Proximity, relevance, authority, core 30, supporting content, geographical content, links proving quality and local trust. You now have the complete system that's ranked hundreds of businesses in the top 3. Every step, every tool, every strategy. That foundation, GBP audit, landing page optimization, automated management, the core 30, the website structure that proves topical relevance, links, the not AI slop links, and the local authority links that build trust. Decision framework. Use the rank map and top 3% to know exactly what content to build next. Topical relevance, supporting content that proves expertise. Geographical content, location pages that expand your coverage area, and the ongoing loop that keeps you ranked as you scale. All the prompts I showed you today are, of course, in my school community. There's a link in the description. You can copy and paste those into Claude. That's my preferred tool, not ChatGPT, and you'll be ready to go. We use LeadSnap for GBP management. Again, I have a link in the description. It'll give you half off for the first 3 months when you use it. You know this system. You know this works. Now you need clients to use this on. So I have a video that shows you the exact Facebook ad campaign that we use to land 30 clients in 30 days. It's going to give you the targeting, the ad copy, the images, the complete campaign structure, everything you need to fill your pipeline. So click there, go watch it, and I'll see you inside the school community soon.